didn't even tell me you'd signed on. Just focus on not getting yourselves killed, okay?
Your species chose you. The two of you hold the future of humankind in your hands. We're counting on you.
Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. It could be a game, could be a limited edition, could be a console, but today we're going to be talking about none other than Astral Chain for the Nintendo Switch, because this game right here, how on earth has it been over 5 years? Like, this game originally came out in 2019. Like, how on earth is this game roughly about 5 years old? That's just crazy to think. Like, I feel like pre and post era of COVID are like two different eras, and I'm like, it's just hard to kind of think and fathom that this game came out in the early life of the Nintendo Switch. Within the first 3 years though. So I was like, you know what, I've been really wanting to have a sequel for this game so long, so I was like, hey, this is a good excuse for me to be able to go through and talk about this game that Platinum Games has made as one of Nintendo's newest IPs, at least at this time, for Astral Chain right here. So we might as well go ahead and jump up in it though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Astral Chain. Now, this game right here literally was probably, I would put as one of my honorable mentions for games that came out in 2019. Like, remind y'all, games that came out that year, we had Fire Emblem Three Houses, we had Luigi's Mansion 3, or even popular third-party games like Dragon Quest XI-S. Like, 2019 was a very stacked and a really good solid year though. But on my bingo card, I remember thinking all the way back to when that February Nintendo Direct happened of that year for 2019, and they kick-started off that Direct with this brand new game. I was like, what the freak is this? Because this doesn't look like a Nintendo-ish game, quote unquote. But little did we know that this was a game being made by Platinum Games, who are, you know, the creators of like Bayonetta and such, as well as this is technically Nintendo's IP. So Nintendo is basically saying, hey, Platinum Games, make a new game for us, and this is going to be our new IP, and we'll go in on you almost like, what, 51-49%. So basically they still own it, but Platinum did a lot of the legwork for them. And I was like, man, I could just tell out the gate, I was like, this game is going to be a game for me, because, you know, honestly, now that I think back at it, it's been a hot minute since I played this game, and probably for a lot of y'all out there as well, unless you happen to be playing through it recently though. So let me kind of catch y'all up to snuff on exactly like what all this game entailed and all the different things that you were able to do up in this game though. So as the few survivors of a massive global disaster, you gather together in a ferocious mega city. Now, it's your job to protect them against otherworldly invaders, but you're not alone as a member of a special police task force equipped with sentient armaments called Legions. In this brand new game from Platinum Games, control the protagonist and a Legion simultaneously to chain stylish combos. Chain Legions on the fly to vary your style and unleash a variety of abilities. The last remnants of humanity depend on you, and to save the world, you must investigate its dark side. So you get to explore a near future cyberpunk metropolis, which, you know, I definitely give the game credit. It definitely had that cyberpunk feel to it. Solving crimes and seeing how the last remnants of humanity struggle to survive. Like, you know, the streets were rough in this game though. Like, you see some crap in this game, I'm just saying. And as you save the world from extra-dimensional invaders called chimeras, you will also interact with citizens, question suspects, and team up with members of the task force to solve cases. Utilizing the abilities of Legions will be necessary in these investigations, so you will need to track the scent of a missing person or subdue aggressive criminals. Beyond this last land left to humanity lies the Astral Plane, the alternate dimension from which chimeras invade. As you explore its labyrinth and its corridors, you must use your Legions to solve environmental puzzles and expose the secrets of this strange realm. And that's basically like a short synopsis of what this game entails though. So you're literally playing in a cyberpunk city, right? And there's two different main protagonists. You get to choose between either the male character or the female one. And at least within my playthrough, whenever I was first going through the game, I chose the male because at least there's voice acting between both the different characters though. But whoever you don't choose, you get to hear your twin sibling speak more. So I'd rather hear the female go on and talk versus just hearing the dude go on and talk though. So I know my good friend Mario, I think he did it the other way around. He played as the female and the male was basically his sibling though. But yeah, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with either choice though. I felt like mine was more of a definitive route, at least for me personally though. But yeah, you get to go through as these twin siblings, and literally you're the police force. You're basically like the last line of defense between all these humans that are basically living on like this floating-ish island, and all these chimeras are invading them from via this astral plane. So it's up to you and this police task force to basically fend off this threat and try to keep humanity as stable as possible, even though like the streets are rough up in this game though, and everybody's hanging on barely by a thread though. But with you being part of the police task force and stuff, Neuron, they managed to get a few tricks up their sleeves, and they did some experimentation and stuff with some of the very chimeras that are actually trying to invade. And hence now you have a partner called a legion. And with these legions, you have a few different forms that they could basically take, that you could summon, and it kind of versify your gameplay drastically. For example, the 5 different ones, you had like a sword legion, you had an arrow one, an arms, a beast form, and you also had an axe. I remember the axe form was like, I think it was like one of the later legions you got up in the game though. Really powerful stuff, but he's like more of like a defensive unit. I love the beast one. Like, every game got to have some kind of animal buddy or something that you're able to pet. Like, you have those group of people out there that be like, hey, can you pet the dog or can you pet the cat or whatever though? But yeah, no, Legion, the beast one, he's all right with me. He's really quick and pretty agile. Like, you can hop on him, ride around and stuff, quickly avoid enemies and such. Like, he was definitely one of my go-to people, as well as the sword legion. Like, the sword legion, I think, was like your best overall legion. Like, he could basically do almost everything: standardly attack, evade, counter stuff. Like, that was really good, solid. Then you have the arrow one where you can kind of shoot from a distance, and then you also have the arm legion where you're able to basically literally almost halfway fuse with the dude though, and get in close, really up close, tight, and personal with whoever you happen to be attacking and such like that though. So yeah, I love the synergy you're able to do, because it's literally going back and forth between you controlling the legion and yourself. And controlling you as yourself, you literally had a gun of your own, and you had like almost like a baton, like you think like what normal police will have. Well, at least back in the day, not necessarily now though. But yeah, you have basically like a sword-ish thing, and then you had a gun. You're able to use both of those in tandem with controlling the legion and stuff, or you'll be like attached to them by the hip or commanding them to do different things from a distance. I mean, the gameplay is like no other that I've ever experienced up until this point, and it definitely has that platinum flair to it. Like, now looking back at it, looking at this game, it's like, yeah, you can definitely tell that this is for sure a platinum style game. And overall, I loved every single aspect of this game. Like, literally, I don't feel like there was ever a dull moment up in the game. While yes, you had like your main storyline missions that you were able to go through and accomplish, you did have a lot of different side quests that you were able to do, or people you're able to interact with within the city or the police task force itself, in terms of like, just trying to help out your little community that you happen to be living in and such. So it's like, just going out doing little tasks here and there though. I'm not one of those people that will go through and play through every single side quest, but I would just do enough to at least get me to be fulfilled or get satisfied with the game, or be able to get a little bit extra practice in between certain story missions and stuff. And obviously you can go through and upgrade your different legions. All 5 of them had different skill trees, as well as like you were able to upgrade your sword light weapon as well as your own gun though. So there was a lot of different things you can do to kind of upgrade the different equipment that you were able to have access to. So overall, I love the heck out of this game. Now, obviously, the big thing I didn't mention was the story, which I don't want to go necessarily too heavily up in it, in case you happen to be somebody that hasn't managed to play the game though, because I am crossing my fingers with the ending we managed to get within the first. Notice how I said the first Astral Chain game. I'm assuming we might get a second one though, but that's where I'm crossing my fingers for, because in this game, the way how they ended that game, I was like, no, you kind of left that mess on a cliffhanger. I was like, you can't end it off like that. And while while you had different people that are necessarily friends in the game, and then you have some people that you thought you might have been buddy with, but then they wind up having to flip the script up on you though. So kind of put 2 and 2 together though, and it's like, dang, how they're gonna end the game like that though. So I feel like they definitely left the door open, wide open, for there to be a sequel, and hopefully we'll manage to get that mess on the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, that's the hope, that's the dream, because really what they did in this first game was just freaking phenomenal. Like, there's not a lot of other Switch games out there. Yeah, if you literally look at any other Nintendo IP, like literally there's nothing else out there that's quite like Astral Chain. Like, I would say that this is kind of in its own tier, kind of close to like a Fire Emblem Three Houses, or kind of close to a Xenoblade Chronicles, where it's like, yeah, it's not like your typical friendly Mario Party, Mario Kart, or your traditional Smash Brothers, or even like Splatoon or stuff like that. Stuff that has that broad appeal to everybody. Yes, I understand that this game is a little bit more niche. Like, I know it sold a little more than 1 million, but not quite 2 million-ish in terms of sales though. But that's not bad for a brand new IP that you just managed to release that year though. And honestly, it really can only go up from here though. At least that's the general hope and consensus, at least that's residing within myself though. But man, oh man, this is a game right here. And if you had not managed to play Astral Chain at all, I advise you strongly to actually look into this game though, because I feel like it's only a matter of time before we had that sequel. At least that's what I really want to hope and believe though. I keep ranting on about a sequel though, but like, this is my video. Nintendo, you better hear me out, because gosh dang it, you better give me this gosh dang sequel. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, this game right here is definitely a work of beauty. And even when I'm looking inside the case, like look at that mess. Like, you don't usually get good art illustration within the cases itself nowadays, though. Like, come on, Nintendo. I was like, man, you pumped up this game so much. Don't be scared about those million sales that the game has managed to get thus far. I say that's pretty good for a brand new IP. You just got to get with platinum. You don't necessarily have to acquire them. You don't have to buy them out or something like that. Just strike another deal and say, hey, look, we had that first, it was pretty good. We just need to iterate on it, just add a little bit more to it and keep the story going. That's all I'm saying. And you'll appease, the diehard Nintendo fans like me quite well. That's all I say. All right, I'm done preaching. I think I did as much as I possibly could for this game though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all have you thought about Astral Chain? Have you managed to play through this game before at all? Or if you're somebody that hasn't, are you curious about potentially looking into it now though? Because I think the game is basically out of print as of this moment right now. I mean, yes, you can go and download the game on the Nintendo eShop if you wanted to get it that way though, but if you want to get it physically, you might have to do a little bit of digging. Hopefully the value of that game has not gone up that much for the physical version though. But, I digress. I don't know where the market is for this game, though. But that's going to basically do it for today's video, though. So if you really like this, make sure you're going to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.